Hey everyone, it's Ivan, keepatcher.com, out here for another gear review, and today talking about training tools. This guy right here, which is the Blackbeard X by Mantis. So what is it? Well, it's actually a pretty clever training tool, and it is the new updated version, which is a combination between their Blackbeard and their Mantis X. If you're unfamiliar, their Mantis X essentially goes on like a section of rail, like your light rail on a pistol, tracks all kinds of movement. It's pretty cool. It gives you basically feedback for dry fire. And then fast forward to the Blackbeard, which replaces essentially bolt carrier, charging handle and stuff like that, as well as the magazine in your rifle, and basically gives you a laser and trigger reset. So you get to like dry fire your rifle without having to run the charging handle every time, and gives you that visual input with that laser. So this basically combines those two. So now we have like accelerometer, all that stuff from the Mantis X built into the Blackbeard. So gives you tons and tons of options with respect to training. Real quick, I'll go over installing this. After initially making sure our rifle's clear, we're gonna go ahead and remove our bolts, our bolt carrier group, and we're gonna take this Mantis unit and slide it straight in there. And then we can go ahead and close that back up. Then we take our magazine and insert that, and we're good to go. We've now made it to where this rifle is literally impossible to shoot with live ammunition. But when we take it off safe, we get that. Basically that trigger reset. And with it, this one happens to project a green laser. They have variants with a red laser as well as an IR laser. So what can we do with this now? Well, can kind of do everything you could do with the Blackbeard or the Mantis X. Lots and lots of opportunities for training. Down here on the bottom of the magazine, there's this button where basically you can pair with your phone, and through the app, you can use it just like a Mantis X, giving you all kinds of feedback using that accelerometer. So, hey, what kind of excessive movement was there before the trigger press, during the trigger press, after the trigger press, all kinds of stuff. And then on top of that, we're actually projecting a laser. So you can actually use this visual feedback, and with that, there's decidedly height over bore. So afterwork offset when you're essentially dry firing on targets. And you can actually use it with a pretty cool system they developed that lets you actually shoot targets, like shoot the laser at targets, and gives you feedback from those targets. And through that app, you're able to do all kinds of different drills, to include speed drills, multiple targets, all kinds of things. Lots and lots of opportunity for all kinds of training, dry fire training, without actually expending ammunition, but with this, getting that trigger reset. So on your gun, the way it's set up, not some sort of vanilla gun, like however you have it set up, which is pretty neat. Well, the Mantis app that pairs with this is free, utilizing that accelerometer. If you want their like shooting academy, kind of that whole setup, targets, in addition to that app and stuff, additional cost around, I think, 150 bucks. But what do I think is actually really cool about this unit? Granted, it does a lot of stuff with respect to training dry fire. Well, I think honestly, one of the biggest benefits with that trigger reset, and in this case, visible laser, is force on force. So how often do you get to go do force on force in a safe manner, whether it's in shoot houses or pretty much anywhere for that matter, and yeah, actually go against other people. Not only that, but with your gun, the way it's set up, like your stuff, not some vanilla like blue gun or something like that, and actually get reps on your trigger, working your offset, like all of those things. This absolutely lets you do that. For my own part, I ended up using the Blackbeard X, basically going against my boys in the shoot house. They were armed with a training gun that actually shot projectiles, basically little paintballs, and I had this. I did that on purpose because I didn't want to just go blast my boys with like UTMs or something like that. I wanted them to basically be able to work those skills in isolation without necessarily consequence of getting blasted. I think consequences are good, and I think there's absolutely a time and place for like UTM and stuff like this, but this is absolutely a low-cost alternative that lets you get some really good training in. To that end, I was actually at a really cool night fighter course. It was put on by a Holistic Solutions group, and they had, I think, 4 or 5 of these units, and it was a night vision course, and we ended up actually swapping bolts, magazines, again, everything rendered totally safe, and then it turned into force on force under night vision. And after the fact, you could go back and see, well, I could most certainly. The instructors obviously were walking with the students or behind them. I, for my part, had mission recorder going, so I could see exactly what was going on, like after the fact, like go review the footage. Hey, did I clear that corner? Like, did I break my shots on this bad guy before they were able to see and break shots on me? And I think it's a huge training tool with respect to that. While I think the Blackbeard X, basically with those different apps, the fact it's projecting a laser so you can use it with their targeting app, as well as the accelerometer, I think there's a lot of really valuable feedback you can get with respect to dry firing. And part of it too, honestly, with those apps and stuff, it makes a game of it. Like it gamifies it, which I think is good, because if you make it a game and make it fun, you will dry fire more. Like that's a thing, and it's a positive thing. I think for me personally, the place where this really shines is taking your gun, making it completely safe to where it cannot fire, and allowing you to get time behind your gun going against other people where there aren't consequences. Like reps on your gun, your trigger, your optic, your setup with someone on the other side of it. I think there's value there if you end up carrying weapons to the end of self-protection and stuff like that. If you go out and shoot 3-gun or whatever 2-gun like competition, maybe that doesn't really apply. Like maybe that isn't a value add. For me, that's actually a big part of it. Price-wise, for the Blackbeard X by Mantis, you're looking at about 320 bucks. Is it expensive? Not if you use it, especially when you factor in time to get to the range, ammo, all those other things. Massive money saver if you actually use it and do dry fire. Or again, definitely a really good, well, everything has its place to include like UTM sim, but I would say a very affordable kind of stepping stone on that path to force on force training, and very usable to that end too. But if you want to pick one up, there'll be a link down below, take you over and check them out there. And last but not least, if you appreciate my content and want to support it, greatly appreciate it, whether it's liking and sharing videos or going over to kitbadger.com, picking up stickers, patches, things like that, or supporting me directly through Patreon. Helps me go out, create more content for you. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.